Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the GFI Racing League podcast. I'm your host, Nick Norris, driver the number 16 for the league, and welcome to another episode of our winter interviews. These are our week 13 and 10 interviews, so I hope you all enjoy them. We got 3 for you today with some good advice and fun details about these drivers, so hope you all enjoy. Let's get right to it with our first interview. Alrighty, we're now with William Robbins, driver the number 28 for Flagship Motorsports and winner of the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. You started P9, led 35 laps of this race, kind of stole the show, and what better person to steal the show from than me? I think I led 50 or so laps, but just ended up struggling there in the end, and you didn't. You came out there and you were the closer and got it done. And my first question for you is, what did you utilize to work through the field and get this win?
Oh man, patience, just trying to find a rhythm and kind of settle in. It's North Wilkesboro can be a little bit of a challenge in itself, so just trying to find a lane that I could get to stick consistent, and a lane where no one else was at, which was the bottom. A lot of guys running the top all night, and the bottom was kind of open, and just tweaked around with the bias a little bit and found a set point to help it wrap the bottom. And once I got it sticking down there, it was it felt pretty good.
I also ended up enjoying the bottom quite a bit. I thought it was pretty fast down there, even though if you did run the top, you could get a pretty good exit. But I would also do this thing where I'd set up on the top for one lap or for one corner and then go to the bottom for the next, and that ended up working pretty well. So it's cool that we kind of utilize somewhat of the same thing there to stay up front. And
yeah, absolutely.
What strategy did you play heading into the race in terms of pitting and tires, fuel, all that sort of deal?
I knew I was going to want to, have to run some practice laps. I realized tire wear wasn't that bad for the fall off. Fall off was real slow. So I'd kind of, if it was going to stay green, I was going to go, somewhere in the middle there and try to split it up. But we had a couple cautions that played out well. I want to say it was maybe lap 65 or somewhere in that ballpark. There was a yellow, and I was like, man, I'm going to go in, take a set, and then this is it. We're going to commit. This is the tires we're going to run the rest of the race.
Fair enough.
So I made that last stop and rolled.
Well, heck yeah, wonderful job on that last stop. Looks like you didn't make any errors, no speeding in pit lane, nothing to bring you back, so that's great. And this has been your first race in the league and your first win in the league. What other tracks do you have some confidence on that you could end up in victory lane again?
I really do. I do like the mile and a half. They're fun. Typically find a decent rhythm at most of them. So I am, somewhat looking forward to this race tonight. And looking at the rest of the schedule, I think we've got Road America coming up. I do enjoy my road races too.
All right. Well, wishing you some good luck at Charlotte. We'll see how that all plays out. And what drives your passion to race?
Oh man, just always been a diehard race fan. Grew up on it. Grew up on NASCAR, watching races, going to races. Always been into the gaming side of it. Decided last April to kind of make the plunge into iRacing. So bought a rig and a PC and all that, and kind of dove in and really got hooked into it, man. So I've been kind of locked into this stuff since last April.
Awesome. All right. And one more question before we get you out of here. What's one thing other drivers could learn from you?
Oh man, just patience. I think when I first got in here, I was one of those guys that wanted to give it everything the car had, in the first 5 laps. Thinking I needed to go to the front immediately, and I kind of learned how to be patient and relax and take it slow. If you've got speed and you run consistent and patient, it'll come. So you just got to kind of relax, settle in, and wait it out.
Well, thank you so much for your advice today and your look inside of your race. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before we get you out of here?
No, man. Hey, I appreciate the interview. Again, excited to be here with the league. Last week was fun, so looking forward to another good race and kind of see how this thing rolls out for the season.
All right, awesome. Wishing you the best of luck. Thank you for your time.
All right, appreciate it, Nick.
That was a really awesome interview with William, his first race in the league and his first win. That's really impressive. That'd be something cool to do. But yeah, just a really great interview, some really cool details, and good advice from him. We don't have an Xfinity race winner interview this week, but Dylan Hartman won that one. Big congratulations to him. Great job. That was an awesome battle there at the end. So let's jump to our GT3 race winner interview with Kyle Hayne. All right, we're now with Kyle Hayne, driver of the number 87 for SCR and winner of the GT3 race this week at Road America. He started P1, led 15 laps of the race. And what were some challenges presented to you in this race, if there were any, and how did you overcome them?
I mean, in qualifying, the qualifying was pretty fun. It was almost a second. Tyler just about held on to that second gap, and I think it was like 0.98 or something like that. So it was pretty. It wasn't too close, but I was trying to make it a full second, but didn't end up doing that. And turn one, chaos, of course, always happens. I mean, it's casual in road racing, and especially in sports cars and all that type of stuff.
Right.
And you got the back end of it in turn two, I guess.
I did. And this is your second time setting pole and winning it in the end. Was the pressure on to get the result?
At the end of the race, I was happy because coming out of the pit stops, it looked like I wasn't gonna make it on fuel.
Oh, really?
And I was fuel saving. If you look at my lap times, it went from like 205s from lap 2 to when I pitted, which was lap 8 or 9 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it dropped from it went from 205 to like 207, 208, 209. Like it just kept dropping. And then I came back at the end because I realized I was gonna make it. So
Oh, wow.
that's good.
Okay, so you came up and what am I trying to say? You overcame that challenge of being close on fuel there, so that's very good and very lucky and very skillful of knowing how to save that much fuel so that you can make it to the end and not run out and lose the thing. So congratulations that you were able to pull that off.
Thank you.
And do you think Tyler, if he didn't run into the trouble that he had, that there would have been more of a challenge in a battle there, or what were your thoughts on that?
My pace was I'm not gonna say it's a lot faster, but it kind of was. I mean, my teammates are definitely fast. Michael was a little bit faster than Kyle.
You did
But,
set the fastest lap of the race, indeed.
I think it was by like 5/10 when I did, yeah. So it was, my pace was, I think I was, yeah, 205s was like my average, and then like I said earlier, it went from like 205 to like whatever it was, and I think Michael's was the second fastest lap, and he's at 205 once. So my average pace was a little bit faster than most people.
Yeah, it was really good. And 3 SCR cars ended up finishing in the top 3. What does this mean for the team?
I mean, it's great, of course. We started last Saturday, I think, and to have the Xfinity race win in Talladega, I think last Tuesday.
Mhm.
It's great to have another one, and then we had another one the night after. So that was now we have 3, I guess. So that's good.
I know y'all kind of got this together mid to late season. This is going to be really interesting next season, how y'all are going to look in terms of team points and all that, jumping out from the get-go altogether. So that'll be interesting to keep up with. And what kind of dedication and practice are you going to put in for next week in the GT3 series?
I mean, of course, I have to buy Phillip Island because I've never driven it before. And I mean, like all the other tracks I usually buy, like I've done it with Sebring, Monza, like any track you really buy. You
Right.
have to, of course, buy it and then do some practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually when I buy a track, it's for IMSA or something like that.
Okay.
And well, what I do is I usually just do like 10 laps, and then I just take I kind of study what I did, and I do another 10 laps. It's kind of like repeating, and I just build up the pace, kind of.
All righty. And we chatted a bit before this interview, and you mentioned that a new setup might be on the way. What are you going to be getting?
Most likely a SimLabs cockpit.
Ooh.
And so it's a little bit more on the high end, and hopefully Moza, because Moza's it's
Very
not the
good.
top end, but it's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. It's right on par with Fanatec. Some may argue a little bit better, some may argue a little bit worse. I mean, sometimes it's just preference. But thank you so much for your time today for this interview. Is there anything that you'd like to say before you get out of here? And maybe if we don't do an interview again, but hey, that could be a rare chance, right?
Well, like I said, in Okayama, I'm gonna try to be back here next week.
All righty. Looking forward to it. Take care and best of luck out there on them tracks. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
another great interview with Kyle. I have a feeling we're going to get to know him quite well. He's definitely given Tyler some great competition in the GT3 series, as well as the whole SCR team that has come together. So I hope Tyler's having fun now. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our ARCA race winner interview with Kyle Purcell, another SCR driver. All right, we're now with Kyle Purcell, driver the number 86 for SCR, pole winner and race winner of the race at Charlotte for the ARCA series. There were 10 lead changes during this race, and you led 61 of these 75 laps. And this was your 4th win of the ARCA series. Doing great. You're in the lead for the driver championship, and this was another dominant race for you. What was in your head coming into this race? Was this expected? Was this a surprise?
Honestly, a surprise. I mean, in practice, I didn't feel like I was that fast. I put Tess down a really, really good qualifying lap and got the pole as a result. Really wasn't as dominant as you think either, because, looking at it, one caution, 7.8 second gap to second, but honestly, I was probably 3rd fastest maybe in race pace. Keaton was definitely faster than me.
Oh.
But the thing is, you can aero block. It's pretty single lane in the ARCA car. So I was just basically trying to put my car in front of where he wanted his car, and then the 2nd and 3rd place got into each other a little bit, probably got a little bit of damage, fell off. And then I was just pretty much making them use up their tires trying to get by me while just taking their lanes away until they faded. And then when it came down to pit stops, that's where I made all my time up. I mean, that 7.8 second interval was all pit entry and pit exit. Brad was faster than me for most of the runs. I was a little bit faster on the long run, I think, but I think overall his lap times were better. It's just I got onto pit road fast, out of pit road fast, and that was... I come out of pit road, I'm like, oh, there's a 3-second gap right there.
So what more do you think? What more do you think Brad Keaton could have done if he wanted to win this race?
I mean, just maybe practicing, getting more comfortable with the pit entry and pit exit. I mean, Charlotte's a tough pit exit because it's bouncy and flat, so you gotta be careful. But I mean, there's a ton of time to be made up entering and exiting the pits. If you're being too careful in a close race and a green flag feeling race that might not get another caution, you have to take the risk of coming in hot, especially if you're trying to catch up. Because like I said, I mean, I was not coming in super aggressive, but I was coming in probably faster than anyone else. But I mean, you can gain or lose seconds very easily if you slow down too much or you start to miss it by going in too hot and have to cut back. So yeah, I mean, just practicing especially on worn tires during practice. If you do a long run, hit pit road like it's the race. Just make sure that you know what it feels like coming in and going out, and can adjust and make sure that you're not losing a bunch of time. Like maybe you run me down 3 seconds on track over the run. That's great, but if you give it all up for free on pit entry, then it's a waste.
Fair enough. And you're in the lead for the ARCA Championship as well as the Xfinity and the Cup Championship. What have been some of the biggest challenges for you up to this point?
Well, in Cup, it's been there's just a lot of competitive cars in Cup, more so than ARCA especially, but, there's just less participation in ARCA, so there's, less of the guys that I'm competing with in Cup. Some of them aren't running over in ARCA, but Cup, a lot of it's just been completing the races clean. My biggest thing with ARCA is that I only have like 3 incident points per race at this point. So I think I checked, I have like 0.05 incidents per lap. So just I've been able to keep my car really clean in ARCA, and that's reflected in a lot of good finishes, a lot of top 5s, a lot of top 10s. Just keeping a clean car, staying up front, not getting wrecked and going to the back, not causing wrecks and going to the back. Cup, I've just struggled a bit more with trying to keep the car under me and avoid contact.
What's some advice you would give to drivers that want to chase championships? Is it being patient? What would you say?
Just pick your battles, I guess. There's times where I'm like, I could make a run at the front here, but maybe if I hang out for a second, I'll avoid some chaos, and maybe it's not as high a risk. But there's other times that you need to get forward. Like I want to say it was Cup at Charlotte this week. I was in 9th and there was a little clump of cars battling in front of me, and I was trying to stay out of it, but they were getting really sketchy. So I ran all the way up to fourth in half a lap because they were all getting into each other and washing up the track, and I took that as my opportunity. I said, I've been waiting, I've been patient, I need to get by them before they crash. And then shortly after I got by them, they crashed. So I think a big thing about long-term season points, everything, you don't have to win every race, but you need to be finishing the races without no DNFs. You can't be crashing out. There's drop weeks and everything, but there's not enough for you to be throwing races away, going for moves you don't need.
That's some great advice. And one more question before we get you out of here. What would you tell drivers that are struggling with lap times and qualifying? What advice would you give those fellows?
We get 3 qualifying laps here, which is a luxury you don't get most places. So typically I try to run my first lap fairly safe.
Okay.
And make sure more than anything else, I'm getting a good run into my second lap. So make sure you get a lap time that's not atrocious or you're not hitting the wall or anything. Make sure you put a lap down that's at least okay the first lap, and then push on lap 2, and don't be afraid to bail out. If you have a bad 1 and 2, maybe back off and get a good run out of 4 again to try to make 3 your good lap. And it's really all just feel, you don't want to spend all practice running qualifying laps. Make an effort to get a feel for, here's what the first couple laps feel like, which lap, because it depends on the track. Sometimes your first lap's going to be your fastest, sometimes your third lap's going to be your fastest based on tires. So just kind of again, like I always say, just have a plan. Know what you're going to do, know what you're going to try, and be willing to adjust. If you're going to make lap 2 your fast lap, but you mess up turn 1, make lap 3 your fast lap. And if you hit the wall, you hit the wall. But it's all about being prepared, having a plan, and being willing to adjust if something happens.
So sometimes we have a very great difference of qualifying times to where it could be a second, maybe even 2 seconds off. What can those guys do? Do they just need to be more confident, bigger risk takers, hammer down where they're not? What do you think?
If someone's just generally off pace, maybe just put in some time practicing that car on that type of track or that particular track outside of the session, or just if it's just a matter of they have the pace, they just can't put down a good qualifying lap. A lot of times it's just trying too hard to be first. Because if you don't feel like maybe you're a 5th to 10th place speed, try and get 5th to 10th place in qualifying. Don't shoot for the moon and just push. A lot of times they'll push too hard on entry and they'll slide up the corner and then it's too late. So okay. I think it's just a matter of get what you can get, and if you have a shot at the pole, go for it. But if you feel like, maybe I'm not probably going to get the pole, don't wreck yourself or don't qualify 20th trying to qualify first when you could have been 5th.
All right. Awesome advice. Thank you so much for your time today, and good luck in the run through all those championships. I'm sure you're going to get one of them, if not maybe all of them. So best of luck to you.
Appreciate it. We're going to try our best.
Take care. That was another great interview with Kyle Purcell. He's always got very good in-depth advice and tips for drivers that are looking to improve and letting us know what he does. And he's a winner, so you might want to take notes on that. So that'll bring this episode to an end. I really hope y'all enjoyed this one. Make sure you're tuning in on Sunday for the podcast episode recapping the week of racing. Tune in Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern for our Cup race being broadcasted on the GFI Racing League channel, and then come back Wednesday for some more winner interviews. Thank y'all for watching, and take care.